Thought Reflection 0615-26. Living Beyond Expectation. Expectation is one of those things we rarely question. It operates quietly in the background of our lives, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without drawing much attention to itself. Yet the more I reflect upon it, the more I realize that expectation may be one of the most subtle sources of distortion in the human experience. At first glance, expectation appears simple. We expect certain things to happen because they usually do. The sun rises in the morning. Our routines unfold in familiar ways. The people in our lives tend to behave according to recognizable patterns. In this sense, expectation is a natural consequence of pattern recognition. Patterns are important. Without patterns, we could not learn. We could not adapt. We could not navigate the world. Every lesson we have ever learned is rooted in our ability to recognize recurring relationships between actions and outcomes. Patterns allow us to anticipate possibilities and make decisions about the future. In many cases, expectation is simply an extension of that process. Based on what we have observed, we anticipate what will likely happen next. There is nothing inherently wrong with this. In fact, it is necessary. Yet expectation does not always arise from patterns alone. Sometimes expectation arises from desire. We want something to happen. We hope something will happen. We imagine a particular outcome and begin directing emotional energy toward it. The more we desire the outcome, the more energy we invest in the possibility of it becoming real. This is where expectation becomes difficult to see. Most of us rarely recognize how many expectations we carry. We expect the weather to cooperate. We expect our favorite team to win. We expect our plans to work out. We expect people to understand us. We expect opportunities to appear, conversations to go well, and life to unfold in ways that make sense to us. Most of the time, we do not even realize these expectations exist until reality chooses a different path. That is when expectation reveals itself. A plan falls apart. A relationship changes. A promotion never comes. An illness interrupts our plans. The weather ruins the day. A team loses. A project stalls. Suddenly disappointment appears where certainty once existed. What is interesting is that reality itself is not always the source of our discomfort. Often the discomfort emerges from the gap between reality and the future we imagined. In many ways, disappointment is simply expectation revealing itself. The greater the emotional energy invested in an outcome, the greater the disturbance when reality unfolds differently. This is why expectation can become such a powerful source of distortion. It quietly pulls our attention away from what is and toward what we believe should be. Instead of experiencing reality directly, we begin comparing it to an imagined future. No matter how much emotional energy we invest in tomorrow, tomorrow remains a possibility rather than an experience. Within our experience of linear time, life is always unfolding here in the present moment. We can think about the future, we can imagine it, we can plan for it, we can desire it, we can even fear it, but we cannot experience it directly. The future may influence our thoughts, but only the present can be lived. This does not mean we should stop planning. It does not mean we should stop dreaming or imagining possibilities. Those things are part of being human. The challenge is learning how to engage with the future without surrendering ourselves to it. The more emotional energy we place into future outcomes, the more vulnerable we become when reality unfolds differently than expected. Perhaps this is why expectation feels so familiar. Like anxiety, it often exists quietly in the background long before we become aware of it. It influences our reactions, shapes our emotions, and colors our experience of reality. Because it feels so natural, we rarely stop to question it. Presence invites us to do exactly that. Presence does not require us to abandon expectations or desires. It simply invites us to return our awareness to the place where life is actually occurring, here and now. The present moment does not ask us to stop imagining the future. It simply asks us not to live there. Maybe expectation is not the problem. Maybe desire is not the problem. Maybe the challenge is learning how to hold our expectations lightly while remaining fully present to reality. To recognize patterns without becoming trapped by them. To pursue goals without becoming consumed by them. to dream about the future without abandoning the present. And perhaps this is where trust enters the conversation. Expectation often wants a timeline. It wants certainty. It wants proof that the outcome is coming and that it is coming soon. Trust asks something different. Trust asks us to continue walking even when the timeline remains hidden. Trust does not guarantee outcomes. It does not eliminate disappointment. It simply allows us to keep moving forward without needing to know exactly how or when everything will unfold. Because no matter how much energy we invest in tomorrow, life itself is always unfolding today. And perhaps wisdom is learning the difference. Trust does not guarantee outcomes. It does not eliminate disappointment. It simply allows us to keep moving forward without needing to know exactly how or when everything will unfold. Because no matter how much energy we invest in tomorrow, life itself is always unfolding today. And perhaps wisdom is learning the difference. Haggis, my esoteric journey.